Hi, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today something which is potentially very boring, but could save your data and possibly even your PC. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we're taking a look at the Amazon Basics. This is the 550 VA surge protected UPS. Now, for those who don't know what UPS is, it is an uninterruptible power supply, which broken down essentially means if you've got a device plugged into this, if for some reason there is an outage on your mains power supply, i.e. your wall plug, there is a backup battery in this unit which will continue powering your devices until such a time that either the power comes back on, or if you have it set correctly, the device will shut down if the power doesn't come back on, to prevent things like data loss, corruption, all those kinds of nasty things. Also as well, this is kind of lightning protected, surge protected, so you've got 6 ports on this particular device. Now I should say first of all, this at the moment on Amazon.co.uk is around about £90, which actually is around about the normal price for this kind of device, although this does often come up for sale. I actually picked it up for around about £45 I think it was, so do keep a lookout for this one if you're interested in UPS. The Amazon Basics models do quite often have sales on, so definitely keep a lookout for those. Or also, if you do want to see other deals on UPSs, then you can join our Discord, and we have got a bargain section, which quite often these kind of deals will get posted, so make sure you sign up. So let's get back into the actual specs of the unit itself. So as you can see, there are 6 plug sockets. Now 3 of them are actually battery and surge protected, which are these ones down here, which is clearly labelled up. And in the top you've got 3 surge protected ones. So depending on what your setup is, if you've got maybe your desktop PC, you've got your speakers, scanner, printer, router, modem, all those kinds of things, even a monitor, you could basically plug in everything which is needed through this, so you've got surge protection. But if you put your primary devices, so say for instance your monitor maybe, your PC and your router, then even in the event of a power cut, you should still be able to get online, use the PC for a limited amount of time until the power either comes back on or the power basically shuts down the PC. Very, very flexible, actually very convenient, and could save you a lot of data loss. Most PCs these days do have an SSD and also a hard disk drive, and the drives do caching, etc. to try and speed up transfer. So if the power goes out for no reason, just unexpectedly, there's a very strong chance you can actually corrupt your data or even break your Windows installation. If you're using this for something else, perhaps maybe a NAS device, so you've got all your data or your treasured moments backed up on a NAS device, then this is even more important. NAS devices generally, again, will use hard disk drives and possibly SSDs for caching. So if for some reason the power just kicks out, that is going to potentially leave you with data loss, which again, the whole point of having a NAS is to keep those memories and precious bits of data safe and secure. So let's talk about some important things first of all. Now, one of the questions that you're probably asking yourselves already is, how does it actually all work? Well, essentially, this is a rechargeable battery, which you'll probably see from some of the cutaways. The battery itself is actually user replaceable, so if for some reason the battery started degrading after time, which generally they do tend to do, you can actually replace the battery. The battery in this actually costs around about £20 here in the UK, around about $25, and are easily available from a lot of sites. We'll put some of that information in the video description below, and you've probably seen some pop-ups from that already. Various options from Amazon or basically just battery suppliers. So you don't have to worry about your investment. Obviously your investment is the brains of the device, but the battery itself is user replaceable, very easy to do. There's like 4 screws on this one, and it is connected with a couple of spade connectors inside, so very, very simple, very easy to replace. The battery life is something which a lot of people are going to be probably asking about, and that is going to vary on what it is. So this has a 550 VA, which is something in around the kind of 330 watt mark. So again, depending on what your load is actually on the device, then your mileage will definitely vary. Now, I have actually tested this earlier on today using my PC behind me, which is using a 27-inch monitor. It's a Ryzen 5 3600, a RTX 2060 graphics card, and just in Windows mode with a bunch of tabs open. And actually, when it went into power saving mode, it does tell you in the software, which you can download, which we'll take a look at later. It said it was using around about 120 watts thereabouts. So again, that is well below the 330 watts kind of peak that this can do. Obviously, if you're putting more of a load on it, then that is going to increase. So maybe you might want to go for the next model, maybe the 700, or if your usage is actually a lot less, then they do actually do a 400 version of this as well. Again, we'll put some links for those in the video description so you can check it out on the Amazon website. So back to how it actually works. So when this is plugged in, which is normally plugged in using a traditional 13 amp plug, again, depending on the region, your plug may differ, but you plug this into the wall and think of this as being like one of those extension sockets. So you plug this into the wall, that gets your main power, then all of these are powered and also the battery is charging all the time, which is great. So you don't have to worry about anything. It literally just takes care of itself. There is on the side of the unit a USB connection, which is just there, which is handy because there is a USB cable included, which is a USB type A to USB type B connection. So your regular kind of USB cable, almost like what you get with printers, that kind of thing. So all we do is plug in the USB type A into your PC or your NAS device, plug the other end into here, and it will communicate with the software. Now some devices actually will have baked in support for this particular device. Specifically the NAS that I'm using, which is the DS920 Plus, that has actually got baked in support for this already. So you can just plug in the USB, go into the section for your NAS, and you can enable UPS support. We'll take a closer look at that later on in the video. If you're using it on a regular Windows desktop PC, you can download a piece of software. Again, we'll link that in the video description also, and also later on we'll show you how to install it and how to configure it. But essentially it works in the same way as your Windows power management. So normally with things like laptops or PCs, you have settings in power management, so the PC will turn off after a certain amount of time. This just adds an additional extra part, so you can set it to turn down or turn off even when the battery reaches a certain threshold. So either kind of 20% usage left or whatever you predefine that term to actually be. Again, we'll show you that later on in the software on the PC. So let's quickly go through the rest of the bits and pieces actually on the unit itself. So as you've seen from the top section, so you've got your plugs that get fit in there, surge protected and battery protection there, surge protected there. You've also got a control panel as well, which will light up. There's also a power button and a mute button. So if the bleeping of it drives you crazy in the event of a power outage, you can press the mute button, it will mute it. The power button, you just press and hold it for a couple of seconds, let it beep twice, release the button and it comes on. As you can see, there's a little battery LED there to say that it's on battery power because currently it isn't plugged in. So this, as it stands at the moment, I could actually plug a device into this and it would power up as normal, which is awesome. If you want to turn the unit off, then again, press and hold it for a couple of seconds and then it'll click back off. Normally when it's connected to the mains, you'll find that the little sine wave light is on and there's a green light, basically. Yeah, green light means good, amber light for the battery, and there's also a red light, which means that there's an issue with the device, which isn't a problem. It's normally because it's either overloaded or there's a polarity difference. So all you have to do is press the reset button on the side there and it'll reset it, and then you can plug things back in and everything should be back to normal. For those of you wondering, the actual cable on the UPS itself is around about 1.5 meters long, and obviously the USB cable they supplied is 1.5 meters also. But if you want to, you can get a longer USB cable. So if the control PC is slightly further away, then you can use longer cables if you need to. Also on this side there is a little section there, so you can actually cable manage this a little bit. So there's this little unit which goes on the side, which conveniently has kind of routing for 6 cables. So you can just attach that onto the side here, just pushes into place. Again, entirely up to you whether you use that or not, but it is definitely an option. Not much else on this side. On this side it's completely blank, a little bit of ventilation on there. Moving around to this side again, nothing at all. On the bottom of the unit then, this is where things get moderately more interesting. So we've actually got wall mounting options, so you can actually wall mount this if you wanted to keep it off of maybe flooring, carpet, that kind of stuff. There is also this tray section here, so there's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remove the screws, this slides off and gives you easy access to the battery, which again is user replaceable, around about £20 for the battery. The battery is a 12 volt, 7.2 amp hour battery. Again, you probably see that from the cutaways, what we've filmed already, so you can see the specs, and again, there will be links to the battery in the video description. Obviously, for those of you that need it, there is a Amazon Basics instruction guide, which is multilingual and tells you basically all the specs, etc., how to fit it, all the kind of usual stuff, but to be honest with you, it's relatively straightforward. So what I'm going to do is now, I'm going to plug in the mains plug into the wall socket, and I'm actually going to start powering the PC behind me straight into this unit, and then we'll do some practical tests, and also I will show you how the software all works and how it can be configured. Okay, so we've got the device plugged in. I've shut down my PC, as you can see behind. So as it stands, the device, when it's plugged into the mains, is switched on. So this is currently in charging mode. Sometimes you will find there's a slight buzzing noise when it charges at a higher amperage, But yeah, that is completely natural. Don't be too concerned. And actually, the noise does go down after a little while. So once the battery gets to a certain percentage, it's completely silent. So at the moment it's turned off. So let's go ahead and turn the device on. So press and hold for a couple of seconds, and you probably can't see it from the camera, but currently we've got the sine wave light and the green light. So that means the unit is on, powered, and there's no issues with the electrical system, etc. It's all working as intended. So now we can power up the PC. So if I press the power button, so now this is currently being powered from this unit using the AC mains as a complete pass-through, which is completely normal. So we'll wait for the PC to get booted up, and then we'll take a look at the software, and then also at the end, when we've done that, we'll do a quick demonstration of how long it actually lasts, how the shutdown works, etc, etc. Okay, so here we are on my Windows desktop. So we've installed the PC software, so it's PPP Windows. So this is from CyberPower. This is the CyberPower Power Panel Personal. That's a very difficult one to say. So you basically download that. Very straightforward, very easy to do. There we go. So cyberpowersystems.com/products/software. You can go ahead. There's a cloud version, but there's also the personal version. So there we are, Power Panel Personal. You can download it there as version 2.22, and this works absolutely fine with these devices, being that CyberPower are actually the ones who actually are the OEMs for this particular device. So yeah, you can go ahead and download that and install it. Very simple to do. So this will then give you this icon in your taskbar. You can right click on it or left click on it and open it, and it gives you basically all the information. So current status is electrical power supplied by AC utility power, output voltage 242 volts, so that's about right for the UK. Power condition normal. Remaining battery capacity is 56% because we've already done some testing on this today. Battery status is charging. Remaining battery runtime is 12 minutes, which generally is more than enough to shut down a PC. And the UPS load currently from Windows, including my monitor, all the RGB, etc., is 86 watts. That obviously will fluctuate, and hardware status is normal. Also, you've got these sections on the side, so it tells you about the battery capacity, just a more visual option from this. So you also, in the home page, you've got the summary as well, so how many times you've had a power outage, all that kind of stuff, regulation, and you've got event logs, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, gives you a little bit more information. It does store quite a lot of information, so if you want to check on the AC to see what problems you're actually having, if this is going to be off-site, then this could be quite useful to you. Let's go into the next tab over. So this is our energy reporting. So again, you can have energy consumption and energy settings. You set your region, say how much it costs. So you can get an idea of actually how much your device is costing you. So yeah, that's a pretty cool little thing if that is something that you're interested in. So you can do energy reporting. Next one is the settings cog. So this is where most of you are probably going to end up. So this is how to configure your UPS. So you've got schedules, so you can schedule uptime, that kind of thing. You've also got notifications, so you can have software sounds. So in Windows, it will ding. You've also got UPS alarms. You can enable or disable the alarm, which is the bleep. You've also got the option to send yourself an email. So if there's a power problem, and again, it's off-site or you're at work or just away from the building, then you can set it up. You can use either Gmail or another account. You can set up all your email information there, and it'll basically just send you an email, which is yeah, pretty decent. Next up, you've got runtime, so runtime configuration. So you've got the option to keep the computer running, and you've got to shut down this computer when the remaining battery runtime is only 5 minutes. You can configure that to either 5 to 10, so this is kind of like worst case scenario. 5 is probably the best, give you a little bit more time. And then you've got to use this option to extend operating time while on battery power. That one there is preserve battery power, so that will essentially close down a little bit quicker. So again, you've got option there between 0 and 5 minutes. Again, all user configurable, choose whichever you want to do. I generally want to keep computer running and only shut down when there's less than 5 minutes remaining of battery power, which is absolutely fine. Next one, you've got voltage, gives you information about your voltage, etc. And you've got a self-test option. So what you can do is run a self-test. I've done one of those earlier today just to see how it all works. And if you initiate the self-test, you can probably hear that the UPS is just flicked over. So we've got the alarm button. Now it tells you your battery capacity. We were around about sort of 60% anyway, so that's absolutely fine. It says we had an estimated runtime of about 9 minutes. So you can do this periodically just to check what your runtime is likely to be. But yeah, absolutely fine, so carry on. And it actually does carry on after the test is done, just to make sure that the device does reinitialize and the USB and all that kind of stuff is working as it should do. So yeah, pretty cool. In advanced, we've got the shutdown type, so you can choose either for your PC to shut down or to hibernate, whichever you want to do. Again, shutdown might be safer for some people, but hibernation is fine as well. Okay, very intuitive. Everything you want to know is there. Also, it tells you the hardware information about your devices. So this is the Amazon 550 firmware version, and the power ratings 330 watts. And you've also got technical support options there as well. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. So what we can do now, again, we've got the PC up and running. So I'm going to illustrate now the power turning off. So I'm actually going to turn the switch on the wall off. And as you can probably hear, the device has gone into battery mode. And we should see that the AC utility will update itself shortly. And there we go, there was a Windows ding. And there we go, so it's now saying it's electrical power supplied by battery. We're a little bit down on voltage, 230 volts, but that's absolutely fine in the UK. Power condition is a power outage. So rather than being a little blip or a surge, and it tells you your remaining capacity. Also, you've got that audible alarm, and it says we've got about 8 minutes of runtime. So considering the battery is about 50%, generally on a normal Windows PC, you probably get about 20 minutes. I did a test earlier, and we got the best part of about 18, 19 minutes out of it. So most PCs, you should, I would say, get a good 15 to 20 minutes before you actually have to shut down. But yeah, PC is still working normally, still do whatever you want to, go into Windows, do stuff. You could, if you wanted to at this point, you could manually shut down. Yeah, so we're flickering between 5 and 6 minutes as the battery is fluctuating. We've still got 32% left on our battery. Again, if you had a complete power outage, at this point you would know. So now we've got the continual bleep, which means the battery is getting to the low status. So there's a warning of that for around about a minute, and then it will start trying to shut down everything in the background. Yeah, so now it's flashing. It's like, come on, seriously, shut down PC. And there we go. So currently we're shutting down. No user intervention. I haven't pressed or clicked anything. It's literally just done it all for itself. So again, if you've gone out somewhere, actually let's mute the button. No, it seems you can't mute it in emergency mode. So let this carry on shutting down. And there we go. So when the PC is shut down, then, oh, crap. Okay, we're back. And yeah, I didn't think ahead quite well enough on that, which is actually a good thing because it's illustrated a very, very good point. I was actually using OBS on the PC to record the what was going on. So obviously I can't record shutting down because it won't do that. Now what is a nice feature of this, actually the software has managed to shut down all the background tasks, and actually my MP4 file, which I was using for the desktop recording, actually went up to a certain point and then saved itself. So if you are doing some streaming or some recording on your PC, some desktop recording, it will actually save the information, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting to have to re-record the whole lot again, but essentially it has worked. So yeah, very pleased with that. So we've got the system back up and running now. We're back on to AC power, and the battery is now recharging as it should do. So yeah, any disaster has been completely averted. Obviously, this is a very kind of unscientific test, and yeah, it's just demonstrating how the device can actually work. Now going over to using it for a NAS device. Now again, depending on what NAS you've got, you may find that this is or maybe not supported in hardware. It does appear that most Synology boxes using DSM software will actually pick up this device and include it. I have actually recorded some footage of this so you can see, but essentially all you do is go into your control panel for the DSM software, go into the power management section, power and hardware, then head on over into the UPS section and enable the UPS. Now you can do various things in there, so you can set it up for run to a certain point of battery or just keep it on as long as physically possible. Again, down to the individual how you want to set that up, but certainly this device is recognized as a UPS by the Synology software, so yeah, most devices should be absolutely fine. I'm on, I think it's DSM 6.2, I think, on that device. The DSM 7 isn't technically officially out yet, so we will be doing updates, but I'm sure if it supports on 6.2, we'll be fine in 7. If you're using one of these on a QNAP or other type of NAS device, let us know in the comment section if it works with your device, because I'm sure that information will be helpful to others. But I think that's going to pretty much wrap this one up. So essentially, for what it costs, if you can get it at the bargain discount prices of around about £45–50, it's a definite no-brainer. We've got serious issues in the UK at the moment with weather patterns changing and things like that, and we're actually relatively okay. Our power supply is generally okay, but things are starting to get worse, and for those of you that are in other countries where your power supply may not be as reliable, or maybe you're living in a slightly more rural area where you do have more frequent outages, then definitely I think worth investing in one of these for a little bit of peace of mind, and also just to keep your devices working whilst there is power outages. So anyway, that's going to wrap this one up. This has been the Amazon Basics 550 VA UPS. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.